A week after Urban Meyer fired assistant coach Zach Smith, new details have emerged about what those close to the Ohio State head coach, including his wife Shelly, allegedly knew about a 2015 domestic violence incident between Smith and his estranged ex-wife Courtney. In a report from college football reporter Brett McMurphy posted on Facebook, Courtney Smith said, quote, "All the wives knew, every single one." She said that Shelly Meyer told her she would tell the Buckeyes coach, though Smith said she never confirmed that the coach was informed of the abuse. Here's coach at Big Ten Media Days.
2015, I got a text late last night that something happened in 2015, and there was nothing, unless, once again, there's nothing, once again, I don't know who creates a story like that.
Welcome to College Football Live. I'm Chris Cotter alongside Trevor Matich and Mike Golick Jr. And Trev, when you saw this story this morning, what was your initial reaction?
This is an existential threat to Urban Meyer's career, legacy, and reputation. If it turns out, once the facts are all in, that he enabled and kept around a serial abuser, there is no coming back from that. So learning the facts about this is critical.
And learning them quickly, I think, in fairness to everyone involved, for Courtney Smith, the victim in all this, who is now very much publicly the center of this. They need to move. Ohio State and the brass there need to figure out this situation quickly, in fairness to her and in fairness to a team full of student athletes that are getting ready to start their season that have no connection to this other than being coached by the people involved.
To your point, every reporter in college football is on their way to Columbus to report on this story right now. We have a slew of them on their way. So Courtney Smith is going to be the center. She's going to be under tremendous scrutiny. So will Urban Meyer and the entire Ohio State program. To get in front of this thing quickly has to be paramount for this team as they prepare for the season and camp opens.
No, it does, because perception will have a lot to do with it. I don't know right now whether or not any laws were broken from a standpoint of what Urban Meyer may or may not have done. But from a standpoint of public opinion, this is where his danger lies.
And I think there's a lot of danger as we look at this and understanding the current climate and finally seeing we're having a chance to give victims a voice. Courtney Smith has a voice in this situation now. And so if you're the university, it's making sure you're hearing that voice, you're taking this in, and you're taking it very seriously as quickly as possible for that reason.
Yeah, go ahead, Trev. I'm sorry.
No, I see these kinds of stories through the lens of what happened to me when I was a kid in our family. My dad, when he got drunk, was mean, and he would beat my mom. And I saw the bruises as a 6-year-old and a 7-year-old kid, helpless to even understand what was really going on. And when I hear accusations like this, the first thing I think of is my mom. Imagine if I saw that happen now. At the same time, I think that because of the enormity of it, what Urban Meyer knew, when he knew it, and what decisions he made and why are critical to know before we decide that he's guilty of something that is such a career ender. I think this is a place where we need to take a step back from the emotion, which I feel so strongly right now, and know that there is plenty of time to excoriate Urban Meyer, if indeed he was an enabler in this situation. And I will be first in line with all of you to go full medieval if we find out information that that's the case. But in the meantime, I think it's important to take a look at this and let the facts develop and hear his story first.
What we know is what Courtney Smith, the victim, told Brett McMurphy in his reporting, and we're still awaiting to hear from Urban Meyer and Ohio State on the subject matter.
And this is the difficult thing that we hear as we hear from Courtney Smith saying Urban Meyer's wife Shelly and people around, other wives and the coaching staff, knew about this. And this is always the issue when we talk about these big overarching issues outside of football, domestic violence, the things that go on campus here with these college coaches who are such control freaks for their teams and their program, that are so in control of everything, that a lot of us look at these situations and, like Trevor said, it's hard to pull back at times because we look and say, how can you not know what's going on when you're so in control of everything else in your program?
Okay, this is something it's very difficult to do in our situation because you don't want to make light of the situation that led to Courtney Smith being abused and what that means. But what does this mean for Ohio State football as they begin to break camp? And now you have a team that, to your point, the coach is so finely tuned on making sure he controls every aspect. Now he has something that's out of his control as a team that we're expecting a lot from. And Ohio State now prepares to start with practice. I mean, it's from a player's perspective.
Yeah, and this is where the leadership on the team has to step up here. And the leadership of the rest of the university, I think, has to take this opportunity to educate the student athletes on the team right now in this situation. You've got a chance to mold a bunch of young men that are getting a front row view to a situation that is the height of absolute monstrosity if the things that are being reported and the things that are accused here are true. And so you have to take the time to educate these young men right now and try and show them that these are the consequences of actions when you behave despicably.
And Mike, here's one of the lessons as it goes to the student athletes. They are the heroes. They're the stars. People look up to them. They can choose to either be abusers or turn a blind eye or be protectors. And I think this is an opportunity for coaches to tell their players, when you see something happening, you need to be the protector. I don't mean punch people in the nose. I mean, you stand up for people that are not in a position of power because you are in a position of power. And I think too often, too many athletes take advantage of that at the expense of others. And I think this is an opportunity to everybody take a step back and take a breath and say you choose to be a protector.
And in an honest moment, we understand as guys that have been around them that college football locker rooms and locker rooms in general aren't always places that harbor positive and I think carefully constructed views of women in a healthy way. And I think you need to take these time to reinforce and start to really set the tone that there needs to be a message sent about the way that we view and treat women from this side of things, because we often see it's usually on the other end of this. It's usually where we see problems come from.
And Mike, the lesson that you are accountable for your actions. And that brings us full circle.
Yeah, we do have reporters in Columbus. This is a developing story, so we're going to gather the facts. Tune into SportsCenter on ESPN or go to ESPN.com. As the details become more available, we will share them with you.